This still feels like a fever dream, just talking about Luka Doncic as an LA Laker. And I made a video last night that a ton of you guys watched pretty much right after the trade went down, after the live stream. And I was still so flustered just saying out loud that Luka Doncic is an LA Laker. And it really still doesn't make any sense. And now that I've got some new thoughts, some new information about this deal came out, Nico Harrison, the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, did a press conference already. This trade is official. I have more thoughts, analysis, and I'm going to grade every side of the trade. Even a Jazz grade I'll give as well, being involved as a third team here. But you guys already know the offer that went down. Mainly, it's going to send Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers along with Markieff Morris and Maxi Kleber to make the money work. Dallas gets Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and an unprotected 2029 first, and Utah gets Jalen Hood-Schifino and a couple seconds. Yeah, just being 15 hours later from when I'm recording this to when this deal went down, I'm starting to figure out why Dallas made this trade, and I understand it, but I also don't agree with it whatsoever. Because apparently Nico Harrison approached Rob Pelinka, the GM of the Mavericks, approached the GM of the LA Lakers about this deal over coffee a few weeks ago that Nico Harrison mentioned in the press conference. And he's talking about, like, what if we came up with this idea that Luka Doncic could be an LA Laker? Would you do it? And they're like going back and forth. And then over the last few weeks, this never got leaked out. This only was known by the ownership and the GM, and it stayed in-house. And then Shams broke the news after midnight on the East Coast last night. Nobody expected this went down. Everybody thought Shams was hacked.
And I'd like to give Rob Pelinka a lot of credit. You know, trades, you guys have been around here, trades don't happen at the smallest level without stuff getting out. And Rob and I were able to have, you know, really intense conversations over the course of, you know, 3 or 4 weeks that started out as a coffee that, you know, was more, hey, would you ever, I don't know, would I? Let me think of, you know, and then it built upon that. And, you know, we kept it between us. We had to keep it tight. J Kidd didn't know about it. But J Kidd and I are aligned, and we talk about archetypes, and we talk about the culture that we want to create. So I know the type of players that he likes without actually talking to him. Hey, would you like, you know? So I know that, and J Kidd coached them when they won a championship. So I think when you're aligned with your coach like that, I know the type of players that he likes, and so I felt good about it making sense to where we're trying to go.
And I think just figuring out this package, I don't think Dallas got enough. Apparently they were in talks with another team a few weeks ago. I don't know what team they would have went to. I don't know if they would have cared about sending Luka Doncic in the division to the Houston Rockets or the San Antonio Spurs, but they could have definitely offered a great package to Dallas. If they wanted maybe this elite rim protector, this elite two-way player, maybe they talked to the Milwaukee Bucks about Giannis, maybe they talked to the Spurs about Victor Wembanyama, and they were shut down fairly quickly. Because I really hope that we figure out what that other team was, because I wonder if Dallas put out Luka Doncic on the trade market, kind of like De'Aaron Fox is right now, could we have seen an all-time bidding war, and they could have gotten a lot more in return and could have used another team's offer as leverage to get more from the LA Lakers. When I woke up today, I tweeted out, yeah, this is a solid return for a player, but Luka Doncic isn't just a normal player. He's in a different tier. Could they not have asked for Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, a 2031 first, or hey, how about a 2026 or 2028 first round pick swap? Do you think the Lakers would have said no if you just said, all right, we're going to do this trade, but we just want a 2026 first round pick swap? No, the Lakers still would have done that deal. So I feel like Nico Harrison didn't get enough for Luka Doncic, who's a 25-year-old. If he retired today, he would be a Hall of Famer. And I know Mavericks fans are going to hate ownership for a long, long time because they had the successor to Dirk Nowitzki. They had their franchise star. Years after Kyrie Irving retires or is no longer a Maverick, Luka was going to be here running the show, and you're going to continue to build around somebody that makes everybody around him that much better. He's got 5 All-NBA first teams. He's in MVP conversations every year. He just led you to the NBA Finals in 2024 as your best player, and you just shipped him off to the biggest market in the NBA.
As he fits right along with our time frame to win now and win in the future. And the future to me is 3-4 years from now. The future 10 years from now, I don't know. I don't think they probably bury me and Jay by then.
And the fact that the Lakers went from Magic and Kareem to Kobe and Shaq to then LeBron and AD, and now they got Luka Doncic, and who knows, they're going to have a clean cap sheet in 2027. So they could end up with getting a Giannis Antetokounmpo or a Nikola Jokic. Both those players are free agents after the end of the 2027 season. And it kind of reminds me of when Pau Gasol was traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the LA Lakers around 2 decades ago. Nobody really knew he was available, and the Lakers got Pau Gasol for pennies on the dollar. And while this is still a good return, like Anthony Davis is still a top 15 player in the league. You got a future first round pick and Max Christie, and your window is right now with AD and Kyrie Irving. I do feel like they could have gone more than what they got in return. If you look at what the Nets turned a 34-year-old Kevin Durant into, it ended up being Cam Johnson, who could still be traded, Zaire Williams, 1 first round pick in 2023 via Phoenix, 3 first round picks in 2025 via Phoenix, New York, and Milwaukee, 2 in 2027 via Phoenix and New York, 2 pick swaps in 28 from Phoenix and New York, 2 first rounders in 2029, a first rounder in 2031, and 4 second round picks. And the Mavericks turned a 25-year-old Luka Doncic, who's 9 years younger than what Kevin Durant was when he got traded from Brooklyn and Phoenix, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first round pick. And yeah, Anthony Davis's value probably equals to 8 first round picks. But the fact that they couldn't get Austin Reeves, like I said, or Dalton Connect in this trade, or just more than 1 first round pick, that's in 2029. The Lakers are going to have Luka Doncic still in his prime in 2029, and they could add another big name by then. That first round pick is a really good chance of being in the 20s. There's a better chance that that pick is from 25 to 30 than it is in the lottery, in my opinion, just because of how high your floor is as a team with Luka Doncic as your best player. And for Luka, this eliminates his chance on getting the Supermax in the offseason, which was something Dallas was worried about giving him a 5-year, $360 million extension. They were definitely skeptical, apparently, on giving him that much money because of his conditioning issues or his willingness to buy in on the defensive side of the floor, something we did see on display on the national scale in the NBA Finals. But Luka has a contract right now of $43 million this year, $46 million next year, and then a $48 million player option in 2027. He was definitely going to opt out of that. Now he can't get the Supermax extension from the Lakers, but he can sign a 2+1 extension, something that happened with Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers, where then you can get 2 more years of experience under a max contract. He'd be making $51 million in 2027, and then $55 million in 2028. And then in 2029, he would have a $59 million player option, but that is going to be year 10 of service, which is crazy to say that Luka Doncic is going to be playing 10 years in the NBA. Felt like he was drafted yesterday, and then he could sign a 5-year deal worth $418 million in 2029. We know the Lakers would give him that 2+1 this offseason, and as long as he's playing like this Luka Doncic that we've seen from age 19 to 25, he's going to get that 5-year, $418 max contract from the Lakers in 2029, and he's going to get basically that super max money he could have gotten from the Dallas Mavericks this offseason. I also thought there was a chance that the Lakers could look to trade away LeBron James just because LeBron doesn't have many years left in this league. If you look at this Lakers roster right now, it is terrible defensively. You just traded your best defender. You were already a bottom 10 or 11 defense in the NBA. They don't have a rim protector right now. It's Christian Wood. It's Jackson Hayes. This team has Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves as its 3 best players. None of those 3 are really good defenders right now. Dalton Connect, good offensive player, not a good defender. Dorian Finney-Smith can't carry this team defensively. Jared Vanderbilt, back from injury, cannot carry this team defensively. So I could see the Lakers looking to add a fairly cheap big man in the trade market. I don't know if they're going to give up viable assets and valuable assets for a Walker Kessler. I think they can call the Knicks about Mitchell Robinson, call the Trailblazers about Robert Williams, or maybe a little bit more expensive big men like Clint Capella of the Atlanta Hawks or Nick Claxton of the Brooklyn Nets, because Nick Claxton catching lobs from Luka Doncic could be really great for Nick Claxton's career as this athletic rim running lob threat big man. We saw how great Luka was with those lob threats in Dallas with Lively, Gafford, and PJ Washington, and Derrick Jones Jr. as well last year. And we're going to see that in some way, shape, or form in LA. It's going to be a little bit of LeBron James, a little bit of Rui Hachimura, but they definitely need to target that rim running center that is going to elevate his career when they're playing with Luka Doncic. Because hey, I'd be wanting to play with Luka Doncic in LA as their starting center. You were going to make a ton of money doing so. Like if I'm Walker Kessler's agent, I am trying to get myself to Los Angeles. I know the Lakers have been linked to Miles Turner. Maybe that's something that happens in the offseason when Miles Turner is a free agent. I just don't see the Pacers trading Miles Turner right now, as they are still a competitive team in the Eastern Conference, and they're trying to win it all this year. And I think what's huge for the Lakers here, they're going to have open cap space going forward in the new Luka Doncic era when LeBron James retires. And they also have that 2026 swap, the 2028 swap, that 2031 first round pick they have right now. They got Luka Doncic without having to trade more than 1 first round pick. Not even a swap, not even another second, or it's not even another second. That is just mind-blowing for somebody that we thought had top 3, top 4 trade value in the sport. There's tier 1 of guys that felt untouchable or you would have to throw the biggest offer at of all time. It's Jokic, it's Giannis, it's Wemby, it's Shea, and it's Luka Doncic, and he went for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick. So the Lakers right now are in a great spot. They have somebody that elevates your floor every single year, and he's 25 years old. He's 25 years old. It's not like Luka's 29, and we're seeing him enter into a new phase of his career. He's still in the prime of his career, and he's going to be over the next few years. And hey, if Luka gets skinnier in LA, and he ends up becoming more in the body shape that we just saw from him in Dallas in his age 31, 32 season, we know he could still be a top 5 player in the sport at that conditioning level. So who knows what he's going to be like playing with LeBron James in LA. Maybe it's just going to be a different environment, a new start for Luka Doncic, and we can kind of get back to what skinny Luka was in his rookie and sophomore years, where he was so much more athletic and so much more explosive in the half court than what we're seeing right now, which is just a different version of Luka, but still one of the best players in the NBA. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves all ball create and play make with each other in that Lakers half court. I'm really excited to see Luka Doncic be coached under his former teammate JJ Redick and how they're going to look in the post LeBron era as well. So this trade for the Lakers, it's an A+. It really is. Even if they don't win a title for the next 3 years, you found your LeBron successor plan, because I was always so scared that they were going to go all in, maybe trade a first-round pick for Colin Sexton, somebody that wasn't going to get you over the hump in the 2025 playoffs, but they found somebody that is just going to make you a title contender for the next 10 years, who can attract another star to go play with you in LA. It's an A+ trade for the Lakers, and it may be one of the biggest and greatest trades in franchise history for a franchise's history that has so many big trades that have happened before. As for the Dallas Mavericks, yeah, this gets you under the first apron. This gets you under the luxury tax by $620,000. Congrats. But I can't really sugarcoat this trade. It's as bad as it sounds. And honestly, on the surface level, based off this deal, not knowing if they can win a title this year or next year, it's an F. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of it for the long-term effect. Now, if they end up winning a title this year, which I do think is possible, so maybe that's unfair, me giving it an F. You can let me know in the comments what you would give this. Maybe that's just a little bit more me being attached to Luka and his age in Dallas and what they could accomplish long-term. But if they don't win a title this year or next year, with Kyrie Irving, who's going to be 33 at the end of this year's season, and Anthony Davis is going to be 32, and oh yeah, Kyrie Irving has a player option at the end of this year's season. He can opt out of that and then sign with any team he wants in free agency. And in the past, Kyrie Irving has done some things we did not expect him to do. It seems like he really enjoys playing in Dallas, but how much was of that because of playing with Luka Doncic that took so much of the load off Kyrie Irving and allowed him to be a different secondary scorer that we saw him excel last year when he was the number 2 on that championship team? Is he going to be the number 1 with Anthony Davis? Is it going to be more a 1A, 1B? It looks like AD is going to play the power forward position with Dallas. And it seems like Nico Harrison, he's got a Nike connection, dates a while back with Anthony Davis. He always wanted to get him when he ended up becoming the Dallas Mavericks GM. Mark Cuban is no longer there to have that attachment to Luka Doncic, but this is a homegrown star you traded away for somebody that's going to be 32 years old in a month, who's had his injuries, and Luka Doncic has been injured far less than Anthony Davis since Luka Doncic entered the league. Is Anthony Davis a better defender than Luka? Yeah, and they're not even close to even being in the same stratosphere or should be even in the same conversation. Anthony Davis is a tier 1 defender, and Luka Doncic may not even be a tier 20 defender in this league. But obviously what Luka can provide you as a floor raiser, a ceiling raiser, a homegrown star, 25 years old, one of the most popular players in the world, and he's just going to make you a championship contender for years and years. I wonder if Dallas could have maybe just traded the rest of their first round draft capital. Maybe they stomach trading away PJ Washington or Gafford or even Derek Lively to get a premier wing defender or even a big as well at the deadline instead of trading Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. It's kind of mind-blowing that this happened for the Dallas Mavericks. Like I said, I think they could still win the title this year. They're currently the 8th seed. They're currently down by almost 50 points currently to when I'm recording this against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know it's the G League Mavericks, but is this the start of a bad omen here in Dallas? No, I don't think so. I'm excited to watch Anthony Davis play with Daniel Gafford in that front court. That is going to be one of the best, if not the best defensive front court in the NBA. And when Derek Lively comes back as well, I think they're going to have good chemistry. It seems like Anthony Davis is cool with going to Dallas and he's excited about that new era of his career in the league. And I'm excited to watch a Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis pick and roll. These guys were the number one picks in 2011 and 2012. They both had great careers, Hall of Fame careers, both have a title that they won with LeBron James. And now we're going to see them go all in this year with Klay Thompson, who's not getting any younger. They got to pay Quentin Grimes in the offseason as well. Spencer Dinwiddie, Dwight Powell, Dante Exum are all going to be free agents at the end of the year. They don't own their first round pick in 2027. It's top 2 protected going to Charlotte from the PJ Washington trade. In 2028, OKC owns a pick swap with them. So if Dallas has the first pick in 2028 and OKC has 30, they're swapping those. In 2029, Houston or Brooklyn is going to own Dallas's first round pick. Dallas is not getting their first round pick in 2029. And in 2030, San Antonio has the right to swap first round picks with Dallas, which really scares me, which really does. Just because of Kyrie and AD getting up there in age, both of them have had their injury concerns in the past. What if you have a really bad year down the line and you do not own your first round pick? It just scares me a little bit. And just going back to that first round pick they got from the Lakers in 2029, it's just not going to be a good pick in my opinion. Unless Luka Doncic is by far and away the only good player on the Lakers in 29, which I highly doubt because of that 2027 free agency and how people want to go play in LA. They've gotten big name free agents before and people want to play with Luka Doncic as well. I just don't see that pick being a lottery pick whatsoever. So you're going to get a late first in 29. PJ Washington is a free agent at the end of the 26 season. Same with Daniel Gafford. Clay's under contract till 27. Same with Najee Marshall. Yeah, you got Max Christie and Jaden Hardy until the 2027 season as well. But I just worry about this team's future after this year, after next year. I think it could change a little bit. I do wonder if they would pivot and try to make another big move before the deadline, and they go after somebody like Brandon Ingram. Do they stomach giving away PJ Washington, sacrifice a little bit of defense, attach PJ Washington, Klay Thompson, maybe he goes to another team, Exum and Dwight Powell for Brandon Ingram? That would work financially, and they could look to extend Brandon Ingram and have a big 3 of Kyrie, Ingram, and AD, which is not too bad offensively and defensively, and you can still keep Gafford in all of this. Obviously, you can keep Derek Lively and your young wings like Jaden Hardy, Quentin Grimes, and Max Christie. I'm sure New Orleans would prefer to get somebody like Daniel Gafford instead of PJ Washington, but still, PJ Washington definitely has some trade value, and I think the way that Quentin Grimes has shot the ball this year, same with Jaden Hardy at times, and what Max Christie has done recently for the Lakers, you can stomach trading away Klay Thompson and his shooting ability, what he's shown in the playoffs, just because he's getting up there in age. He's definitely lost a step defensively, and his shot has been way too inconsistent since that 2022 season with the Warriors. So for the Dallas Mavericks, like I said, I'm going to give it an F. I'm not really sure if I can give it a better grade than that right now. Now, if they win it all, man, that Dallas Mavericks account better hold all the receipts because everybody's conning them for this trade. If they win the 2025 NBA championship or 2026 NBA championship, it will all be worth it. Mavericks fans are going to miss Luka Doncic. We're seeing how much Timberwolves fans miss Karl Anthony Towns right now, and this is on a whole nother level because Luka's the number one. He was the successor to Dirk Nowitzki. He's a generational player. Cat was a great player, lived up to the hype of the number one pick, not generational. Luka Doncic, actually generational as a prospect and a player in this league, and they traded him away for a 32-year-old Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. It just doesn't feel like they got the proper return, and I think they could have gotten at least a little bit more out of the Lakers. If it was Reeves, if it was 2 more first-round picks, I think that could have been a little bit more reasonable for Luka Doncic, but I'm just surprised they didn't throw him up on the open market and let maybe Houston bid after him, San Antonio, or maybe Brooklyn, teams with all these assets in the world that you can give a ton. I know they wanted a good player in AD, and I'm glad they got a good player in AD because AD and Kyrie excites me, like I said, but I just think they could have gone a little bit more draft capital going forward. So right now for Dallas, it's an F. I will change it very quickly to an A+ if they win it all, but I'm just very scared of their future, and I'm going to give it an F. And I don't think that's me being reactionary. I think it's kind of insane that they traded away Luka Doncic. And shout out to the Utah Jazz making 2 trades yesterday, just getting a ton of second round picks. Man, Danny Ainge really is a crack addict for basically second round picks. He just loves getting these and getting involved in trades. He helped the Clippers save some money so they can now be somebody in the buyout market. They took on PJ Tucker's contract, going to buy him out most likely, and they got some seconds in cash in that deal. They helped this trade go through, and I'm glad Jalen Hood-Schifino ended up on a bad team this year like the Jazz. I thought he can go to a team like the Brooklyn Nets at the deadline as well because Jalen Hood-Schifino's third-year team option declined from his rookie deal. You don't see that too often. So this is a big second half for Jalen Hood-Schifino if he wants to be a rotational player in the NBA, and he's going to get a ton of time on the Utah Jazz, who are bad. have had injuries this year. They're fully embraced in the youth movement, and they're probably going to get worse at the deadline if they trade away maybe Walker Kessler, John Collins, Jordan Clarkson, or Colin Sexton. So yeah, for the Jazz getting involved in these deals today, I'm going to give them a B. I think they could take a flyer on Jalen Hood-Schifino. Obviously, they can absorb that cap, and they're just piling up second-round picks going forward. I like the trade they made last week when they acquired 1 first-round pick from Phoenix in 2031 for 3 first-round picks, because I don't think those first-round picks were going to be great. They were either from Cleveland or Minnesota, and they both have very good futures behind Anthony Edwards and then obviously that core in Cleveland. So they got a valuable 2031 first, because who knows what's going to happen with the Suns then. How does this trade just affect the trade deadline as a whole? Like, what is going to go on with Jimmy Butler? Where is he going to go? Is it Golden State? Is it Phoenix? Where is Brandon Ingram going to go? I think maybe after all this, De'Aaron Fox and that trade is going to get pushed to the offseason. And then obviously there's so many other great role players that could get moved at the deadline as well, like Cam Johnson, like John Collins, Colin Sexton, Robert Williams. Hey, is Miles Bridges going to get moved as well? I think we are going to see a generational 2025 trade deadline, and I am so excited for it. So let me know maybe your thoughts now that we're hours after this deal initially going down. Have you changed your mind about it? Have you seen Dallas's vision, or do you still think this was an insane trade? Make sure you guys are subscribed, because I will be live streaming the whole 2025 trade deadline on Thursday for 3 to 4 hours. So make sure you're subscribed, notifications on to come out and hang out in that stream. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Drop a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.